Mega Man is a series of 11 games, or maybe 12 games, or maybe 12 and a half games, plus like 4 dozen spin-off titles. And I'm gonna go over my impressions on all of the games in the mainline series, except for this one because it's bad, and this one because it's just a remake of the first game. This review impressions video is going to be broken into two separate videos, with part 1 being about Mega Man 1 through 6, and part 2 being about Mega Man 7 through 11. Starting off his longtime legacy, the Blue Bomber, as he's often referred to, had a pretty okay first entry. I mean, any game with this kind of box art is destined for success. The game is pretty standard and doesn't have much going on. All you can really do is run, jump, and shoot. The magic of Mega Man comes in with the 8 Robot Masters, who all possess unique abilities that Mega Man can gain by slaughtering them in broad daylight. All of the Robot Masters were created by Mega Man's creator, Dr. Light, and were turned evil by the kinda whatever, Dr. Wily. Oh, and also this game is hard, like brutally hard. The enemies just spawn wherever they feel like, constantly and always, and the platforming is, it's fine for the time, but Mega Man decided to strap ice cubes to his feet so he just slips off every platform, causing you to fall into a bottomless pit and die and die and die over and over again. Also, I think it's important to mention that I played the first 6 games in the Mega Man Legacy Collection on PS4, and shamelessly abused the rewind feature to save me hours of my life and my sanity. You can say I'm the scum of the earth and not a real hardcore gamer for that, but I will not listen. Moving on to Mega Man 2, it is literally just the same game, just with different Robot Masters and an ending section that is entirely too long. This game also introduced what I like to call the almost to the final boss and just ran out of the one power you need in order to get past the final obstacle problem. You see, in these games your powers have a meter that depletes every time you use them, and the final section of the game is like 6 levels in a row and your meters don't get refilled in between them, and if you run out of the 1 meter you need and can't find any refills for it, then all you can do is lose all your lives and start the 6 levels over again. Great. Mega Man 3 is just Mega Man 2, which is just Mega Man 1, except now you can slide, which I guess is pretty neat. Does this make 3 worth existing? No, but it does, and I beat it, and this is my least favorite one. So to start, you need to beat the 8 new Robot Masters, pretty standard stuff. But then you have to beat the 8 Robot Masters from Mega Man 2, okay, sort of a cool callback. But then you have to beat the 8 Robot Masters introduced in this game again, and then you have to fight 5 more bosses just in case you didn't think the other 24 were enough. Also introduced in Mega Man 3 was Rush, Mega Man's dog, and Proto Man, which is another kind of like a Robot Master, but not really because he's more like a mini-boss that you fight, and he's pretty fun to fight, honestly. And Rush has 2 settings, Rush Coil, which is used to bounce up to higher ledges, and Rush Jet, which is used to fly across gaps. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, but in Mega Man 1 and 2, there is this boss called the Yellow Devil, and he is the most BS boss I've ever encountered in my life. He comes out of nowhere, hits like a semi-truck, and gives you like 2 frames where you can maybe get 1 or 2 hits on him. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jack, you don't like any Mega Man game. And that's not true. I actually like Mega Man 4, but I still have problems with it. But let's talk about the good stuff first. Now, while this game is still stuck on the NES, they did do their best to try and change up the art style for a change, giving all the levels a softer, more cartoon-like aesthetic, which I can appreciate, especially since some of the levels in the previous games were headache-inducing and nauseating. The Robot Masters in this game all have cool abilities, which is par for the course in all Mega Man games, and now you have the ability to charge your blaster shots, which I did not realize you could do until I was on the final boss. My only gripe with the game is a personal one, but it made me so infuriated I have to talk about it. Wily has 3 phases, and while 2 of them are really easy, one of them you can only beat using a certain power, but hey, guess what? If your meter is depleted, tough luck, pal. It's all the way back to the start of the Wily Gauntlet, and at this point in the game, I had like 5 extra lives, so luckily for me, they didn't put any meter replenishers in front of the final boss, so I had to go back into the fight and die over and over and over again because of course, only the 1 power works on the guy and I was fresh out. Out of the 4 games so far, unless you really want to see where the series began, I'd say Mega Man 4 is the only one that holds up and is worth playing today. Then came along Mega Man 5. which did not change a thing since Mega Man 4, except for Beat, which is a bird that Mega Man can use as a weapon after collecting all of the collectible letters from the Robot Master stages. However, I did not know that was a thing until I was almost done with the game, so I have no input on whether Beat was a good addition to the series or not. Overall, this game is very good, better than 4 I would say, which mainly boils down to the fact that the final boss didn't give me an ulcer this time. And with that, we have finally arrived at the last game on the NES, which unfortunately is not the last game in the NES graphical style. While the Mega Man fatigue was starting to set in for me at this point, having just played 5 of the pretty much exact same game in a row, I will say that Mega Man 6 really did the best it could using the hardware it was puked out on. Graphically, it's pretty much just Mega Man 4 and 5 again, but with a much better bosses and weapons at Mega Man's disposal. The final area was honestly a lot of fun, and the change from Rush being needed to bounce up high or fly across gaps from Mega Man 3 to 5, to Mega Man doing an unholy fusion dance with him to add a jetpack and a power suit to himself was a genius move, and gives the game a much better flow because of it. Although it does make the game significantly easier since you can just fly over a large amount of enemies now. And that's all of the games that I'll be reviewing in this video. Were they the best games ever made? No. Not even close. But there are a lot of games left, and they just keep getting better from here, so I'm really excited to keep playing them. And until next time, see ya. I think it's funny how at the beginning of the Mega Man franchise, the Robot Masters are like, Iceman, Fireman, Cutman, you know, like pretty simple stuff. But then like towards Mega Man 5 and 6, there's like, Centaur Man, Napalm Man, Plant Man,